би да представя следващия ни лектор и темата "Технологии за повече и по-добро образование, цифрови ресурси за социално-емоционално развитие". Франциско Мачадо. Аз ще го представя на английски, но всъщност той ще представи отчасти и платформата, която вече споменахме. Francisco Machado is a psychologist, full member of the Portuguese Order of Psychologists, specialized in social and educational psychology and clinical and health psychology. He is also an associate professor and researcher at Maia University in Portugal, with several national and international publications in the field of school and educational psychology and interpersonal acceptance and rejection. He is a professional and academic internship supervisor, mainly in educational context, and master and doctoral thesis supervisor in the same field. He has participated and coordinated in several nationally and internationally funded projects, namely in 7 European Union's Erasmus Plus program, and in the field of educational psychology, professional training and technology, and digital tools applied to psychology and education. Francisco Machado.
I was going to my works because I was planning on showing the website.
Okay. This should work.
Good morning, almost good afternoon. Yeah, I know that we are talking before lunch, which is a challenge because all of you start thinking about lunch. So I'll try to be brief, so you won't start getting away very smoothly. Well, it's a pleasure and an honor to be here. So I'd like to thank my good friend Nadia. She's more than a colleague now. We've been working together for some years now. So it's a true pleasure to be working with friends, and especially on EU Self Erasmus Plus project, which I find to be very relevant and important because we are playing a dangerous game with our future in terms of not doing a very good work, a very good job in educating our kids, our children, to be socially and emotionally competent. And because all of I'll speak a little bit more about it in my second presentation, but we must understand that most of the problematic issues that are going on Europe nowadays are a direct product of flawed education, and that's a fact. The lack of empathy does not stop at childhood or adolescence. A lack of empathy reaches adulthood. And when I am an adult without empathy, I can easily forget that human beings are the ones that are going to be hurt when my interests are put in front of everybody. So we must understand that social and emotional learning is not something that we should address as maths or languages. With all due respect, I think that social and emotional learning should be the core of the educational systems of all across Europe and the world. But that's something for another presentation. This one is about working with technology to improve education. One of the objectives of our project was to be useful, to be of some use for the people that are actually working on the field, for teachers, for school psychologists mainly, but psychologists in general, for parents, for kindergarten teachers, anyone that is working with kids, directly with kids, to work on social and emotional learning. And digital resources are a very interesting and useful way of reaching these people, reaching those who matter to reach, because there's a very big problem in academia and in research, which is actually no one that matters reads our work. There's a lot of excellent research that almost never reaches the ones that truly matter, which is people that work, and that's a big problem. I think that digital resources, like the one that we built for EU Self project, can be or could be a solution for that problem, for that gap. But any technological application or digital solution is as good as people are willing to use it. If people don't use an application or certain digital solution, it doesn't work. It's not good. So we need to besides creating these tools, these digital tools, we need to engage people to use them and to reach the information that can be of relevance for their work. So that was our main goal. But let me start by, I'm going to talk about three important key topics today, which is one, the importance of digital resources, our mission and aims at EU Self for this matter, for this output, and also I'm going to show you a little bit of our digital platform just for you to see it. I'll leave the link and the address so you can use it, and I truly hope that you will use it in the future to reach all the materials that we were able to compile and edit for you to be able to use easily. So, digital resources are the key to fixing very important issues. One of them is the lack of effective science communication. What I was saying just a second ago, which is a lot of good science doesn't reach the public. So I think digital resources are a very good way of fixing that problem. Another one is the lack of connectiveness between researchers and practitioners. Sometimes, or in a lot of situations, for example, in school psychology, which is my area, it's not as easy as it seems for teachers and researchers to work. It's not. We have to build special consortiums, special groups to work, and it shouldn't be that way. It should be something that is regularly done. Teachers and school psychologists that work in the field should have a very easy access to universities and research, and not to be as difficult as it is nowadays. Information about social and emotional learning intervention frequently does not reach those who matter the most, and that's a big objective of ours, which is to show you all that is good practices going on in Europe that you can adjust, adapt, and use, or even serve as inspiration for your own work to create something on your own turf, on your own context, but inspired on the work of other people. Then lack of multidimensional professional network, which is teachers working with psychologists, working with social assistants, working with pediatricians, working with a lot of different professions, because all these professionals can be more effective on working with social and emotional learning, because not all of us have the same kind of training on social and emotional development, but we can work cooperatively and be able to do our best work if we can interact with different professionals that can complement our work. So, and I think that that's something that's very important also. Lack of awareness of good practice. Sometimes we don't know what's going on. We don't know, for example, I just found out about very interesting material that was presented just in this conference. So it's important to know about, okay. Lack of a wide international multicultural hub. I think it's important to work with people from other countries, because they have different ways of thinking about the same problem. It was a very eye-opening for me to go and visit a kindergarten school in Sweden, which is very different from the ones that we have in Portugal. I would talk about it, but I don't have time. But it's very interesting. That's something that was very enriching in this project. I think that people should have the opportunity to regularly visit other countries to know how they do it there. Because sometimes it's not better, it's just different. And they, ooh, that's a good idea. After all, Swedes are not crazy to leave babies sleeping outside, because it's actually good. In Portugal, that's completely impossible. So, okay, and then a lack of widespread and significant. Another thing that we aimed was to create some kind of movement of wave, because we need to have the more people, the better, working on social and emotional learning and development, because people tend to say, oh, cell is very important, but too much work, too much resources, we'll do something like this. And like Nadia was saying, doing very individual and contained in time intervention doesn't work. At least 1 year of intervention, or else it won't work. It's proven for like 20 years in terms of research. So, our mission, develop a digital tool that could be used to address most of the issues that boycott dissemination. So, disseminate. Show what good practices are, and try to engage people to use them on their own contexts. So, we aim to compile information about good practices and make it available in a user-friendly platform. If a digital platform takes more than 2 or 3 clicks for you to reach the information that you want, it's not a good digital tool. So we try to do it as simple as possible, because sometimes we give up at some point because we have like 10 clicks and we are starting to get annoyed. I don't want this, I don't know how to do this, and we close it. And a lot of good information goes without dissemination. So we tried at least, okay? Provide a space where education professionals can interact. We have a forum and a blog on the platform. Use it. Talk about it. Talk about what you need. Talk about what you think. Reach out to other colleagues that have materials. Oh, I like that material. Can you send me to me by email, FedEx, whatever? Okay, I'll send it to you. Good. Have you something that I can use? Send it to me. Communicate, people. Nowadays, we have that opportunity through internet, through social media, and through a lot of good communication channels. At least in Europe, we have them. Let's use them. Or use self-digital platform. It's there for you. And then build bridges between research and practice. We want feedback. If you want to say, okay, you put this on your website, I tried it, it's awful. It doesn't work. I traumatized kids with it. It was really bad. So we appreciate that. We won't get offended, and we really want that feedback. It's important for us to make it better. Error is the motor of development. So let's communicate with us. It's important. So this is the website's address. I hope that I can open it just for you to have an idea. Oh, here it is. Yay! It worked. Oh yeah. If you ever think about cooperating with software developers, word of advice: train social and emotional development. You'll need resilience, you'll need patience, conflict resolution, empathy, stress management, and Nadia. Yeah. Yes. Nadia knows what I'm talking about. So you have assessment measures, country overviews, programs, publications, blog, and forum, right there for you to use. All of our production, all of our outputs are stored here. If you go to, for example, assessment measures, You'll have a complete list of them. Every measure that we were able to compile that's related with self assessment, and when you click on it, you have a description and the document with a full review of the measure, with the references and the way to reach it, because some of these measures obviously are copyrighted, so you have to have a care with that. Oh, I'm sorry, I hope I didn't. Yeah, I just did that. Sorry. Okay, here we go again. Also the country overviews, the programs. Let me show you the programs. We have a nice map from, it worked. I'm joking because actually this was one of the hardest parts to make work. The map kept not showing up, so I'm very happy it did. You have programs, a lot of programs that we compile that are being used in different countries. You have like, for example, the very well-known Incredible Years from the United States. For example, it has all the countries where it's being used, information, and you got the PDF also to read a little bit about it.
Maybe you can show also the publication button where all the publications are uploaded.
All the
download
outputs.
the full books.
For example, country review book, you have it here, just available for all of you to use. And if something goes wrong with the platform, please give us the feedback. Also the blog, which has several posts about specific issues on social emotional learning, small pieces of information, and also the forum over here, where I don't have the login here, but you do the login and you have the access. That's something that
Maybe, yeah, this we need to tell that using the blog and the forum, you need to register.
Yeah, to register, yeah.
All the other resources are free of charge. You can just download whatever, search by criteria you want, and etc. But using the forum and the blog, you need to register in the platform.
Yeah, we don't ask.
It's really easy.
Yeah, we don't ask any
User-friendly.
personal questions. You don't have to put there your credit card number. You can if you want, but I won't recommend it. But yeah, it's just email and your name, and we expect all of you to interact with us. We are also connected to it, so it's easy for us to communicate with you and start this wave of social emotional learning going on towards the future, because it's very, very important. And if you noticed, I just did 2 or 3 clicks and you get the information, so it's really easy.
Maybe a couple more minutes.
Yeah, just to conclude, I think we were able to make a useful source of information for assessment and intervention that you can use. The idea, I think it's easy and accessible. The idea is not for you to just replicate what's there, but use it as an inspiration. And if it doesn't make a sense in 1 or 2 points, just feel free to use the forum to ask us, I think that the program is good, but this part I don't know. Do you think it can work this way? Feel free to interact. It's easily reachable for everybody, including parents. I think that one thing going forward that I think it should be something to do next is to have a section just dedicated to parents, because this platform is a little bit more for teachers and school psychologists, for professionals. And I think that something that we should do in the future is do exactly the same, but directed to parents, because they need to have the information edited in a different way. And I think that's the next step for us, I think. It's a resource, it's a dynamic tool that can be used, it can be expanded and updated. That's something that we encourage you to do, which is if you have a good program, if you have something that you used and works in your school, in your community, tell us. We want to include it in the information that we have about cell intervention. And lastly, it's important to promote cooperation between countries, because each of the countries, we found out in our consortium, we found out that being from different countries, we had different ideas for the same purpose, and that's something that I take off a very positive take for me from working in EU Self project. So that's for now. That's it for me.
Може би два въпроса, тъй като нещо времето доста напредна. Имате ли въпроси?